This one's gonna be again about Tim Ferriss' Tools of Titans. And I, by the way, hope that I'm not... Am I? Can you see that I've just eaten something? Yeah, you can. Should I give a fuck about it? Probably yes. Maybe no. Coming in a second. But with that being said, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. And I'm pretty fucking pumped to be here. I've just eaten something. Today I actually wanted to vlog a little bit, but I've up to this point forgotten it again. Which is actually something that I'm struggling with, to be honest. I'm just always fucking forgetting it. You know, maybe it's just so inconvenient with my phone because it is so fucking slow, and recording anything is just taking so much time, and I probably do have to do it with Snapchat, which, you know, again, just adds up more time to it because it's, you know, way slower with Snapchat because I do not have any space on my phone, and with Snapchat you're basically just actually saving it to a cloud or something. But in the end, I do just have to struggle with actually exporting it because, you know, Snapchat says like, okay, you know, you do not have any space on your phone and therefore you can't just somehow save it or export it, even though I kind of feel like, okay, you know, why would I have to kind of just, you know, save it to my phone when I'm willing to export it? But yeah, you know, I'm not that educated in the technical space of Snapchat, so I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna make the episode. And as I've already said in the kind of intro, which is actually always the fucking same, we're going ahead with Tim Ferriss' Tools of Titans. Pretty fucking pumped, even though I'm a little bit stressed out today because I started the day so fucking productive. Like I was just cleaning the whole flat, everything, and then I also just I do just have to wash or do the laundry actually. And then I just started to actually make the posts, which took a long time. And then I initially also wanted to start with, you know, learning some maths because I do just have my last exam for this year on Tuesday actually. Yeah, it is Tuesday. And, you know, it is actually the second exam of the, you know, original exam. So like, you know, the whole class was somehow failing the first exam, and therefore we're gonna just do the same exact thing a second time because this is just what the law says in Austria at least. And I as well just failed the first one, but I'm gonna just learn something. Today is actually Friday. I've had just, is it vacation or is it a holiday? Yeah, I think I've had a holiday yesterday and today, which is, you know, pretty nice because if you think about it, on the 6th of July, I'm gonna have my 2 months of holidays because there I do not have any school or something. This is just, you know, what it is like in Austria, or at least in my and it's not a state. Like, yeah, never mind. I think we're just gonna go ahead with Tim Ferriss' Tools of Titan. I'm sweating like a piece of shit, and I do not know why. Maybe because I'm trying to be as fast and as good and as best as possible, which is definitely not the case if I'm wasting a lot of time with just doing some shit and trying some shit out, which is definitely something that really is bothering me. Like, it is just really fucking bothering me if I'm just wasting a lot of time and I just can see how time's going away and it's going away more and more and more. It just really fucking pisses me on. It really does. And I really feel bad when I see, okay, I'm wasting a lot of time. The fucking hell. And also I do just today have to figure out how I can pump up a fucking ball only using just something like this, and I've just now fucked it. Gonna have to repair it afterwards. Should think more. But yeah, I do hope that no, it's not there. No. Let's see. Now you can see me, that's great. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna start or go ahead with the summary. So 1,000 true fans, and I already know where this is going to head, but I'm not gonna just say anything because I know it is fucking great. A true fan is defined as a fan who will buy anything you produce. So every product, if you're just having a concert, they will be there. Every kind of tournament or something, they will just be there no matter what. And they will buy no matter what. True fans become your direct source of income and the major marketing force to ordinary fans. If you can get true fans, then you're sure that you're solving problems for a real group of people. Which somehow makes sense, because like you're not gonna have any true friends if you're not solving anything, you know? At least this is just what I take from it. And this is actually also something that's, I don't just name it or him. This was basically, or I've known this from Seth Godin actually, and I do not know if there are actually some other people who are saying this or something, but originally I have gotten it from Seth Godin, and he actually said like, okay, you know, you do not have to do something for everybody, you know, you do not have to produce videos for everybody, and your product doesn't have to be for everybody. It does just have to be for the smallest viable market. And the smallest viable market, you should totally serve them. And if in your smallest viable market are like 1,000 people, and you get those 1,000 people, or you know, there could even be more, but if you get those 1,000 true fans, you do not have to worry about money, because when they are really true fans, no matter what you produce, no matter what product you have, no matter what kind of concert or other, what is it called actually? Well, I don't know. But no matter what you're doing, they're gonna be there, and you just have to think about it. Okay, you know, you're producing a product for $10, okay, and everybody of these 1,000 people buys it, and it's already 10 fucking K, which is nuts, fucking nuts. You know, you just have to think about it as, okay, like you do just have to put out something that's costing just $10 a month. You know, maybe there's even a subscription service or something, and you're doing very, very fine with actually making 120K a year. You know, at least in my just country, you can live very, 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 very good with that money. You know, pretty enormously good, even though housing got really, really fucking expensive, which is something that a lot of people complain about. Especially at my place, you know, housing is really fucking expensive. You know, still not comparable to just New York or something, because their housing is just, well, you know, I can't just actually explain it in words. What is it like for me? But I think it's just enormously kind of expensive, you know. Similar in concept to Early Adopter and Paul Graham's Do Things That Don't Scale. Very interesting. Kurt Vonnegut's, so it's Kurt, is it Kurt? Kurt, it is K-U-R-T, and Vonnegut, V-O-N-N-E-G-U-T, suggests, write to please just one person, and this person is yourself. The best art divides the audience. Rick Rubin, if half the people love it and half hate it, it's pushing the boundary and not catering to the mainstream. This relates to the idea that Netflix can make such a high quality shows because they are not bound to 24 hours of broadcasting, and they are not beholden to advertisers, so they can make more riskier shows. Which actually is true. Like I think, you know, they can just choose the contracts, and they can just make the contracts. If a show is like, okay, you know, we're gonna try this show and we're gonna see whether it is working or not, they can just air it once, and if it's not working and if nobody's actually watching it or enjoying it, they're maybe changing it up, or they, you know, gonna cancel it. And they can do it because it's their fucking platform. You know, they do not have to ask someone if it is okay or not, which is just amazing, I guess. General fame is overrated. You want to be famous to 2,000 or 3,000 people, you handpick. From Eric Weinstein, whatever. mainstream fame brings more liabilities than benefits. Well, I don't know. Like, I do just also have to say, okay, when you're just famous, just like common sense famous, like, the really common way of being famous, like, when you're a celebrity, no, it's celebrity, a celeb, okay, and I do think, like, okay, chances are pretty high that, okay, out of those maybe 200,000 people that enjoy you, the chances are pretty high that there are actually 1,000 true fans, or 2,000 or 10,000 true friends in this amount of people. I do think it is, well, it is safe. I would say it really is just safe. I do not know what else to say, but it is fucking safe. Today talking is actually also pretty fucked up. I think I'm gonna just have to drink something. I'm gonna be here in a second. So I'm here again, and I'm actually not gonna cut this. Not because I'm lazy, but I somehow think it's funny. Being tough. Getting through rough patches requires grit and willpower. If you want to be tough, be tough. Make the tough call on you on your very next decision. Actually pretty true, even though I always hate it when people say, like, okay, if you want to be happy, just be happy, and if you want to be tough, just be tough. But I also do just have to say, okay, it makes sense to some degree. It really does. Like, yeah, just be tough, or take tough decisions, or make tough decisions. It's really not that hard, or really not that tough. Funny. It really is not. Like, we always have the choice between. Actually, often this is actually something that I've learned, I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and it's just really it's stuck. I'm sorry. It stuck with me just, until now, actually, which is making either the right decision or the easy decision, or going for the right and or for the easy thing, and it's not always just the same. Like, I was thinking about it just recently, whether there is sometimes actually the case that, the thing that you're willing to choose is actually right and easy. But I don't know. Like, I haven't just, made my mind up to actually look for something like that. But often it is actually the case that it is either good and or right, or it's just, easy. And in the end, actually bad and really not right. And I just, always, some years ago or I think a year ago, I was just really more strict about it. And it was just so stuck in my mind that I do just really fucking have to do the right thing. Now I'm also doing it. Like, I'm not just giving a fuck about what I've just done for years or something. I'm really not. But it's not so. I'm not so obsessed about it. Like, I'm not so, maybe even crippled by it. It could also, you could also say that. If you want to be tougher mentally, it is simple. Be tougher. Don't meditate on it. From Jocko Willink, who is actually a pretty great guy. Push yourself harder than you believe you are capable of. You will find new depth inside yourself. From Stanley McChrystal, put yourself in groups who share difficulties and comfort. You will find that when you have been through that difficult environment, you feel more strongly about that which you're committed to. And I also kind of feel like, okay, if you're actually in such a group or something, no matter how you're calling it, I also somehow believe that, it could also be the thing that you kind of, talk about, what is just bad in your life, what is just really fucking with you, and then other people come up with something way, way, way worse. And then you think like, okay, actually it isn't actually not so bad what I'm going through, or what I'm having to go through. And I think this could also be a benefit of those groups to actually just see, okay, what you're doing or what you're going through at the time isn't actually that bad. And I do also believe this in just general, like, a lot of people, especially in the first world countries, which is also actually something that I'm just referring to extremely often. But I think it's just, the truth. Like, a lot of people in first world countries complain about stupid shit, And in the meantime, people in Africa or Asia or something, they fucking starve. They really starve, or, there's war, which is totally not good. And there's just a lot of horrible things going on this planet. And a lot of people just still complain about stupid shit, even though they are in the fucking best place they can actually be, And this is also something that I am willing to remind myself on way more often, because it is actually very important. It really is fucking important. I have one of the best lives, somebody actually can have. I'm sitting here in my room, I'm recording something, I can actually fulfill my own fucking dreams. I can actually try to just fulfill myself, which is actually not something that's quite normal for me. Like, I've been having days where I just really was pissed. I didn't know what I should do. I really didn't know what I can do to actually fulfill myself, to feel fulfilled, to feel like maybe there is some purpose in my life, could also be the case. But now I think I have a purpose, even though, what I'm doing here is sometimes actually stressing me out really fucking much. But it's not that bad. Like, well, it's not that bad. There's gonna be just some really tough times on my journey to where I'm going to go to. And there's gonna be just really amazing days, and just amazing days where I can speak fucking English. And some days like today or yesterday where it's a little bit tough, and I do not know why it is like this. I just haven't found a solution yet, but it is what it is, and I shouldn't complain about some micro fucking shit, because in the macro, like, if the macro is fucked, then you gotta complain, I guess, even if the micro is fucked, wait to the next day, wait to the next week, or wait to the fucking next month. It's gonna be okay, it's really gonna be okay, which is actually also something that I've been telling myself also in very difficult times in my life, which actually weren't that difficult. I only thought they were. It was really like, in the end, everything was good. Even though in those times and in those periods, you're not thinking like, okay, it's gonna be okay. Or a lot of people think that way. Even though it will be okay. It really will be fucking okay, no matter what. Time just, I really believe that time is healing a lot of wounds. I really feel that way, sometimes slower, sometimes faster, but, eventually everything's gonna be okay. Create some fear and make individuals overcome it, from Stanley McChrystal again. Makes sense, by the way. It really makes sense that you're somehow maybe even synthesizing your fear, and you're synthesizing your anxieties or something, so that you can overcome them, so that you can actually see, okay, it's actually not that bad. Seneca suggests enduring a period of simplicity and baseness for 3 days to reset your comfort set point, like sleeping in a sleeping bag or eating only oatmeal. After this, the smallest morsels of food will be delicious, and which is actually the case. And this is also something that I'm trying to refer to. Like, I can fucking choose what I'm eating, and also a problem that I'm seeing there is, we all can, in the first world countries, we all can, but most often we are just choosing something that is not healthy. And this, in the end, just really fucking us. And I quite don't get it. Like, we do have the ability to just live a happy and healthy fucking life, but often we choose to not do that. And some people that are born in just really fucked up countries, really fucked up, positions actually, they often can't choose, whether they are just, willing to eat that fucking mud or that dust, which is actually a case in some parts of Africa where people actually do just have to eat some dirt just to have something to eat. It's really not that funny, and we can choose, and we somehow, at least I believe this, often choose something that is not the best thing to choose, maybe. Even though I do not also want to say that you should only eat healthy, I do also think that it is just, totally okay when you're not eating something completely healthy sometimes. Like you still can change. You still can choose it. And if you're choosing something bad, quote unquote, or something that is just, I don't know, sweet. Let's say some pancakes or some, I don't know, some burritos, and because you're feeling like it. And I'm not saying that burritos are actually very bad, but yeah, it's not that bad. You should not cripple yourself, unless you're like me, which just really seems a little arrogant, but I don't mean it this way, because I do really not wanna eat something sweet or unhealthy, because I'm not feeling good when I'm doing this. I feel the best when I know that I'm eating something healthy and something that is just really benefiting my health. I really feel fucking bad when I'm eating something that's not good for my fucking health. So therefore, it's for me way easier to actually live my healthy life than actually eating something that is not healthy. It is just pretty tough for me. I won't, or I will actually never, or I won't. Yeah, I think I won't. Eat something healthy on purpose, unhealthy on purpose. But yeah, let's go ahead with investment principles after I've taken a sip of my fresh, clean water. Also something you gotta have to appreciate. If you do just have fresh fucking clean water, appreciate the shit. I love my... Do I get some problems with it? Can I take it? Yeah, pretty nice. Little glass. Investment principles. Some investors or investor titans share investment principles that guide their decisions. Tony Robbins' hedge fund friends. It's from Tony Robbins' hedge fund's friends. Kept the downside. Be obsessed about not losing money and protecting against the downside. Find asymmetrical risk and reward. How do you get huge rewards with little risk? Which is actually true. Those two principles, I've seen them. First of all, Warren Buffett talking about it, and second of all, Tony Robbins talking about it, and I also think that Ray Dalio also was talking about it, which is actually very basic and very obvious, and this is just a really great example of things that are really obvious, but it seems to be like that a lot of the people are not, keeping attention to it, which is actually not losing money. Something pretty simple in terms of investment, in terms of keeping money, in terms of saving money, in terms of building your wealth. Just makes sense that you're not gonna lose money, or not just on purpose losing money or something. Always just seeing looking for the fees and so on, to just see, you're not just losing money. The first rule, I think this is actually also from Buffett, he said, first rule is not to lose money. As easy as it sounds and as obvious as it sounds, very important, and maybe not that obvious as I think it is, which is actually often the case. People think that certain things are obvious, whether it be about communication. I'm not gonna tell you this, or I haven't told you this because I thought this is obvious and something like this. No. It really is not obvious, at least not for every fucking body. A lot of people do just think that, such a lot of things are so obvious, but in the end they are not. And this is then a little bit fucked up. But yeah. And also the whole asymmetrical risk and reward thing, it makes sense. You go low risk and high return, but never high risk and low return, because this doesn't make any fucking sense. I do just really have to understand why I can't speak today. Also because, the breath is not there somehow. Feels really fucking strange. Feels really strange. But I also recognize that when I'm talking about something that I'm, that's quite from myself actually, that's quite what I'm thinking about at the time or something, it is okay. So maybe the next episodes should actually, the next episode actually is gonna be a motivational speech, where I'm going to talk about with some music in the background. I think it's nice. I really think it will, because this was actually something that I've always wanted to do, or for a long time wanted to do, but I've never just actually found the right day or the right moment to do so. And this is actually what I'm going to do after this investment principles section, and or in the next episode after I've maybe I should breathe even more. I don't fucking know. I think you can also hear that, my breath isn't there as much as it actually should be, to some degree at least. Really fucking strange, really not feeling that good. I'm feeling fine. I'm really feeling enormously good, but it's not feeling good when I'm just seeing, okay, I do not have enough breath as I need to have. And the last thing is actually asset allocation should be diversified, which means you should not always put everything into one basket. Like if you're buying stocks, something that Tony Robbins and also Buffett were talking about, every single person that is willing to start with actually investing into stocks should go for index funds. Index funds are basically stocks where you do buy a lot of stocks. For example, the S&P 500, you're basically buying stocks from 500 different American companies, which is great, if you think about it. Because if one of these companies is losing something, the other 499 might actually kind of have a high return or might have a surplus in money, and they're going to just, okay, I think you know where I'm going to head. Or where I'm heading actually. So it is really good, it's this really good system to not lose a lot of money. And also you can see the yearly return was, I think, somehow like 9.8%, which is definitely something, if you think about compound interest, which means like, okay, you're gonna just, put $300 into your investment account every single month, which then will turn out to $3,600 a year. And you do this every single year until you somehow die or something. And you're going to see that you're going to just really, really, really make a lot of money through this, Having just something like a market crash or something is going to happen. But as far as I know, as long as you're not going to step out of the market, everything is fine, I guess. I don't know what's happening today, but I really have to force myself to go through the last bit there. Tim Ferriss invests in companies that have technical founders are in a space that he can impact through his network, have some traction, he doesn't have to start the fire, and show less entitled founders and aren't a party round with no lead. Tim also tries to get more equity through his advising time without putting in more capital, which is actually a really great way, like getting more equity without pushing too much money into the fucking shit. Breaking your rules to co-invest is a bad idea, but following rules when others reject can work out. Actually true. Like, I really have to say, if you're having some investment kind of rules for yourself, you gotta just have to, really, you just really have to, like, obey them. Yeah, obey is the right word. You just really have to fucking obey them. Like, why would you then have rules if you don't obey them, if you do just, kind of give a fuck about them and do nothing with them? Wouldn't be the best idea. Really wouldn't be. In some cases, it might actually be great if you're not just really following your rules. But I think often it is actually, really not smart if you're not doing it. An approximation of a hedge in VC is a big business, which is, isn't it? I don't know. Is big business like Uber, which have a lot of international exposure and could be considered counter-cyclical to the macro economy. Tim's portfolio makes him feel like there is no way I'll lose money on this deal, meaning they are rarely moonshots. Kevin Rose, do you understand it? Which is actually also something that Warren Buffett was talking about. He said, like, okay, you do just have to understand what you're investing in. If you don't understand it, you should also not invest into it. Will it be dominant and growing 3 years from now? Will this technology be more or less a part of our lives in 3 years? He takes the features and play out how they can impact the emotions of consumers who use them. For example, Twitter's character length and texting medium lowers the friction for sharing. Following is a new activity that promotes competition and scoring. And the last one is from Scott Belsky. Learn from the past without being inspired by it or following patterns. What conventional wisdom was shunned? Yeah, I'm pretty happy that I actually went through this one today fully on that scale that I wanted to. I really don't know what's going on. I really don't know. The past 3 days in terms of the recordings that I had were not really nice. Really not. I just really have to look. I just really have to see what's going on. Maybe I can do something. But I hope that you've learned something from this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, because I as well enjoyed it somehow. But yeah, I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. And by the way, I need to go to my outro screen. I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. And I still hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered, because this is actually something that you have in your hands and only your fucking hands. You basically decide whether you're going to be remembered as a good or as a bad person. It is in your hands. It is in your control. You will decide. And with that being said, thank you from my fucking bottom of my fucking heart. It's actually pretty sad that, I haven't been enjoying this episode that much. But yeah, I see you, and thank you very much.